Hey guys, I'm Mushroom Stew here, and I welcome you guys all to another Spongebob Squarepants review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the episode Burst Your Bubble. So yeah, as you guys all know, my last review was on the episode Life Insurance, and I got like 95 views. That was like insane. So I guess you guys really love my SpongeBob reviews, and I kind of really appreciate that. Alright. So yeah, sorry I didn't do this like yesterday. It's because like I had to go out with my mom for a bit, but now I'm gonna be doing it today. Alright. So now let's get started with this review. Alright. So now this episode kind of a bit reminded me of like two things. It reminded me of the episode Bumper to Bumper, and it kind of reminds me of part of it reminds me of something in Home. I'll explain it to you guys. So, the episode starts with SpongeBob being a terrible, reckless driver as always, and then Mrs. Puff gets really mad at SpongeBob for destroying half the city. Well, not really the city, it was like getting rid of the boats. Like, for like attacking, ruining people's boats and stuff. You know SpongeBob by now when he drives. And then Mrs. Puff told SpongeBob that he is a terrible boating student and that he will no longer be getting a driver's license. He will never get. Then SpongeBob gets really sad that he will not get a driver's license. Then he notices that Larry has a boat and he feels sad. Then he notices that Mr. Krabs has a boat and SpongeBob feels sad. And then Mr. Krabs thought it was the shorts that Pearl gave him. So, and then he notices that Patrick's boat, and then, I'm surprised that he even has one. Not the fact that there was an episode where he had a boat, but alright. Anyways, so yeah. Then, like, Patrick was playing Frisbee with the boat. And then it cuts to SpongeBob feeling bad, so he makes a bubble form of Mrs. Puff. And then he pretends that Mrs. Puff is giving him a bubble form of his driver's license. And both pop. And then SpongeBob had the idea to make a bubble boat. And then people got amazed when he drove it around town. And then the police arrived and he wanted to see his driver's license. But SpongeBob confirmed that he doesn't need a license to drive a bubble, which is kind of true and kind of reminds me of the Spongebob Squarepants movie where he says that you don't need a license to drive a sandwich. Kind of reminds me of that. Anyways, then like later on, a lot of people come to SpongeBob's house wanting bubble boats. So SpongeBob makes bubble boats. He makes a bubble boat for Larry, a bubble boat for Plankton, and possibly a bubble boat for Mr. Krabs. I don't recall, but I think he might have. But anyways, I could be wrong. Alright. Okay, anyways. So, like, he gave bubbles to everybody in Bikini Bottom. And then it cuts to Mrs. Puff getting upset that everybody wants to just have a bubble boat and nobody wants to teach in her class. Then the police take Mrs. Puff's boat away because now there's a new rule that you're only allowed to use bubble boats. Alright? And yeah. It was kind of messed up, but yeah. And then she had to go to bubble boating school. And you guess who the teacher was? SpongeBob. Which kind of reminds me of the episode, like, Summer Job, which was literally one of my favorite episodes of all SpongeBob history, okay? That was literally one of my favorites, okay? Alright, anyways. Alright. So, yeah. Then Miss SpongeBob tries to teach Mrs. Puff the ropes of driving a bubble boat. She sort of drives reckless and bumps into a lot of bubble boats when they hit the freeway. Kind of reminds me of the episode Bumper to Bumper for a bit. So this episode is reminding me of a lot of things than just Bumper to Bumper. Now I'll explain why they reminds me of Home. Because they're driving bubbles. It was like literally a reference to Home. I have no clue. I'm not sure if this was intending to, but I feel like this reminds me of the movie Home when they had to drive these little bubble ships. Kind of it reminds me of that, except that it's a bubble boat. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. And then the police came and decided to ban all bubble boats because they're a bit unstable and decide to get normal boats. Which means that at the end, SpongeBob decides to go back to being in Mrs. Puff's boating school. So yeah, it reminded me of a lot. This episode reminded me of a lot of things, and I hope. What do you guys think of this episode? Tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you there.